Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at the Bibury Mini Outdoor tool, and I have some things to say about it, but first of all let's go ahead and jump into our size comparison. We'll start off with the channel staples of a 91mm and a 58mm for Simon knife, and let's give some multi-tool relevant comparisons. So we have the Leatherman Squirt, and this is the O-Tackle P1S, but this is basically just a next tool mini sailor. So, this is kind of a little bit more than a mini tool. This is, I would say, between a small and a medium-sized tool. Here we have a Leatherman style CX, Skeletal CX, and a Leatherman Wave. So you can see a good style, shorter, but we're still not hitting that particularly small size. And let's do a quick tool overview. Now there are two versions of this tool. The only discernible difference I could tell from the listing is one is scissor-based and one is plier-based. I went with this one partially because I think a plier-based tool is a little bit more versatile, and it didn't look like the scissor-based one came with a pocket clip, which could have just been a product picture error, but I wanted to make sure because the clip looked good. So let's go ahead and take a look at those pliers first. These are sprung. Of course, we do also have the cutters. Come on, focus. Now we have just outside tools, none of these lock. So first of all, we have a scalpel holder. And this does actually come with a scalpel fitted and with two spare scalpel blades. Scalpel blades are generally pretty cheap and readily available to get. And of course, they're scalpels, they're sharp. This doesn't lock, so you can just push that back down. And then opposite that, we have a hook blade. Over here we have a glass breaker. And then finally we have a package opening tool with a built-in file. And as far as the clip goes, we have an incredibly deep clip that buries the entire tool in your pocket. Can be removed just by loosening the screw and pulling it out. Now, this tool, this is going to be a very quick review because normally I would carry something for a prolonged period of time, gather my thoughts on it. I'm not going to do that with this because I will hurt myself. I will keep this around. This will be a frame of reference. This will be used somewhat, but it will not be carried, at the very least not in its intended way. So let's go ahead and just have a general thought. First of all, this does feel fairly well made. This does feel like a brick, but that's to be expected of a steel budget tool. The weight saving tends to be from skeletonization and aluminium handles. We don't have any of that here. This is a brick. It's well made. The price is good. It's £30 regularly with a standing coupon for £15. I imagine it's the same dollar-wise. So it's cheap. It's generally well made. I like the package tool a lot, actually. That is actually very, very nice. You got a good amount of length, a good sized blade. It is decently sharp enough to cut through blister packaging. And I like these kinds of tools, generally speaking. This is one of the things I like about my rev knife, and I hate the rev. For file, it works. It's not my favorite file texture. It's kind of a weird texture. And I also don't like when you have fingernail grooves integrated into files whilst the file goes around. It's just not nice sensory wise. And it has a nice clip. It's cheap and it's decently well made. That's all I have good to say about this. First of all, the tools. Why? Who is this for? We have 3 different cutting tools on this, and that's not unheard of. The Mini Champ has a lot of cutting tools on it, and I love the Mini Champ. The Wave has like 3 different cutting tools, 4 if you count the metal saw, and I like the Wave. But who asked for this, right? Scalpel blade, not bad. Scalpel's great, disposable, you don't have to worry about sharpening them. Okay, fair enough. Package opening tool, and a great example of one. Okay, fair enough. Maybe our third tool could be a real knife. No, instead let's go for a weird V hook, which this kind of feels like it's half rescue tool, because we do have a V hook knife which works as a seatbelt cutter and is next to the glass breaker. But I mean, you could use one of the other things to cut a seatbelt if you really needed to. This should have just been a normal knife. A glass breaker taking up a dedicated tool slot is weird. They're normally just on the end. I will say, as far as glass breakers go, this does center it, so you are going to be delivering a lot of force. But this glass breaker doesn't lock. So if you're coming at that glass at an angle, there's a chance that this will collapse on your hand, which is no. So I don't know who the tool set's for. The non-locking tools when you have a glass breaker included is wild. One of the big flaws of the outside tools for me is the scalpel holder, because I don't know if you can see this, the tip of the scalpel itself, if you really push it back in, is barely covered. I can feel it there. And if you don't push it all the way in, which, by the way, pushing on the back of a scalpel to close something, not the most comfortable thing. You see how like easily it wants to just stick out? And we're not talking about a normal knife tip, which is not the greatest of things to catch yourself on to begin with. This is a scalpel. It will tear your shit up. That's unacceptable. This should be covered and protected by ample material, and you should not have to make sure that that's the case. If you are left-handed, so the tool is going to be sitting in your pocket over here, and you go to reach past it, you're going to fillet your own hand. It is a matter of time. That's unacceptable. This is dangerous. For that flaw alone, don't buy this. It's not good enough. And I'll comment on the pliers whilst we're here. They're sprung. They're weirdly stiff. Like, this is a lot of force to close the pliers. But what you'll see is when we close the pliers, this is where it wants to stop. Right? This is the end of travel. And you can see the gap we have. So you have to actually mash and push together to go beyond that point. At which point the tips of these pliers will meet. They will meet. And you can, say, tweezer hair as a test, but just barely. And you are really, really digging your palm in to do that. The pliers, I don't know if this is a tolerance issue. I don't know what's going on here. I've had sprung pliers in the past. My Rev pliers met better than this. They weren't sprung, I don't think, but they met better than this, and that's saying a lot. These pliers suck. The scalpel holder being out, which, oh my god, I nearly just cut myself again, sucks. This is a cheap tool. It has an initial illusion of being well made. I don't recommend this. I can see a lot of these being bought in different groups that I'm part of just because they're cheap. Don't do it. This was £15. You can do better. This is a tool I picked up a long time ago that I haven't reviewed on the channel yet. Also from Amazon, also from a budget brand. You're obviously getting a much bigger tool with a real knife with a tip that's covered. Sprung pliers that you don't have to fight to close. I don't think this even had a coupon. I think this was just around £10 to £15 normal price. I think this was cheaper than this. Now these feel cheap, but this is leagues above a better tool than this. Don't buy this. You deserve better, and nobody deserves to fillet their own hand trying to reach for their keys. That said, let me know if you have bought this and if I just have a weirdly bad QA version. That said, tool choice, still wild. Let me know in the comment section down below. Whilst you're down there, I'd appreciate a like and subscribe. And if you'd like to support bringing more whatever this is onto the channel, then please consider supporting via Coffee or Patreon to put more tools on the channel. Until next time, I've been Paul, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and don't cut yourself.